Good morning, everyone. This is Glen, Guyton. I hope you are having a wonderful day. Well, today I want to talk about something I think that is really important for our business leaders, and that's Taylor Swift and Stanley Cups. Now, I don't have a Stanley Cup. I mean, I do have my mug that I'm drinking my coffee out of today. I hope you're drinking some coffee, tea, kombucha, whatever floats your boat. But I don't have a Stanley Cup, but I do have a Taylor Swift album. Actually, my daughter would buy me Taylor Swift CDs for Christmas every year, so I do have a Taylor Swift collection. Um, Maybe you didn't realize that, but again, I don't have the Stanley Cup, and that's all of the rage, right? This morning. Well, I do think that we can learn a lot about what's going on in the NFL with Taylor Swift and what happened with the Stanley Insulated Cup Company. As we think about business, as we think about leadership, um, you know, DEI is changing. How we think about diversity, equity, inclusion in the workplace is changing, and many companies who aren't committed to it don't see the value in it. I do believe in inclusive leadership. I believe in diversity, equity, and inclusion for a number of reasons. But I want to talk about those principles in the context of what happened with the Stanley Cup company and with Taylor Swift. So three things that I'm going to talk about today that I think are really important as we think about inclusive leadership, as we think about culturally competent practices in the workplace. So first thing is enhanced creativity. Um, that's one of the things is we want diversity of thought, diversity of perspectives in the workplace, so that we can become more creative. And if you think about what's going on or what went on with the Stanley Cup company and their meteoric rise to success, is that someone thought outside of the box when it came to their marketing. Right, this was a utility cup company that had a that's been around for a long time, uh, but they began to appeal to this new market, right? This TikTok market, uh, to female consumers. And what happened? The product took off. I have a young friend of mine is was talking about her daughter. Her daughter left her Stanley Cup at dance practice, and so she took her mom's Stanley Cup. It's an amazing thing. Now we have uh, young women and little girls carrying around these cups because it's not just a cup to drink out of. It has become somewhat of a social status symbol, right? And that's a great thing. The Stanley Cup has gone viral, right? It's moved beyond something of utility to something that's viral, something that's a status symbol. I don't know how much this Stanley Quencher cup costs. Oh, it's $45. That's what I'm saying. $45. This mug was made by a friend of mine, and it was free, so I drink out of that. But this Stanley Cup, it comes in all kind of cute colors and things like that. Now you can go on to Amazon and buy you a Stanley Cup accessory. But thinking like that doesn't happen if you have the same old tired people in the room thinking the same old tired things. Well, this Stanley Cup was good enough for my grandpapa. This Stanley Cup is going to be good enough for my grandson. That outdated thinking. So we need new voices in the room, new perspectives, people that are in touch with the latest and greatest in technology. Before Stanley Cup, they were taken out to construction sites and camping out in the woods. I never even heard of this cup. Really, I never. Honestly, I'm from Texas. I know about Yeti. I know about Yeti cups, and to me, that's a big deal. I mean, the Yeti cups were really expensive, and people like that. And then all of a sudden, oh, now it's Stanley Cup, and you have little Stanley Cup holders and Stanley Cup lids and all this other stuff around uh, this functional utility thing. Now it's become a lifestyle brand. And somebody was innovative, was smart enough to start to think outside the box to say, how can we engage new people, reach new markets? And what happens when you do that? You get rich, right? You get rich. It actually drives uh, a broader market appeal. So now you have, again, third graders taking their Stanley Cup to school because they want to be cool. Now, it's some unhealthy things that are going on with the Stanley Cup craze, but I'm not sure Stanley people care as much as they care about reaching these new markets, and they're having their Stanley Cups not just out in the woods or not just out in the construction site, but now Stanley Cups are everywhere except for Glen's house because I use my free mug. And I like this. I like this rustic mug. The other thing we want to think about is the NFL and Taylor Swift. Now, I don't exactly know what's going on with the NFL and Taylor Swift, other than it's bringing new attention to the NFL. You have different people engaging in what's going on in the NFL. So with the Stanley Cup, we talked about increased creativity. The other thing we talked about was broader market appeal, and I think that Taylor Swift and the NFL is falling into this category of broader market appeal. So who watches typically, stereotypically, who are we thinking about when we're thinking about the NFL? We're thinking about men, right? But now we have Taylor, the pop icon, who bridges generations, who moms love, little girls love, and now we're drawing that market into the NFL. So people that maybe normally weren't paying attention to the NFL are paying attention. And I think this even drives employee engagement. It gets other people involved. I know one of the NFL players, the wife designed a jacket, right? Designed a jacket that Taylor Swift wore. Now she's been designing these jackets before, but now she has a licensing deal with the NFL. Uh, it's bringing more attention to the NFL brand. Again, it's increasing revenue, another revenue stream for the NFL to get into this more fashion market. Not that the NFL didn't have this before, but I promise you that some of the women that are buying NFL stuff now will be because of Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift has made it cool, especially in Kansas City. And I love Kansas City, by the way. That's the #2 barbecue spot outside of Texas. So thumbs up to Kansas City and their barbecue. Really good, really good. Texas still #1, but those burnt ends in Kansas City are great. So, so just think about what's going on, and just think about how many people are being drawn in again to some of the things in Kansas City. Store owners. This this craze because of the diversification of the market is just amazing to me. And so when people think about or talk about, you know, uh, I don't know, they say what, go woke and go broke. I don't like that. But if you start thinking outside of the box, if you start looking at ways to innovate, to expand your market share, that's what these inclusive leadership practices are all about. Is to step outside of your traditional box of thinking and to say, okay, what does that person want? What does this consumer want? How can I tap into this market? What is the problem that I'm trying to solve with this different demographic? How can I empathize with this group in order to be more creative, to grow my product, to reach more people? That's what we should be thinking about when we think about uh, diversity, equity, and inclusion in these corporate settings. Now, is there a justice part of it too? Yes, there is. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about some of these workplace things we want to do. And if you really want to add justice into it, then we can think about how we treat our employees, employee retention, that sense of belonging and well-being when we are taking care of one of our prime resources, our people, right? Because we are in the people business. No matter what we do, we need people to turn that widget out, right? To produce that product. So yeah, so it's just amazing to me. Those two things in this moment of time as a business owner, as a leader, I try to think about, well, what could I do differently? How can I make a Stanley Cup? How can I create this hype that like the NFL has with Taylor Swift? Then how do you capitalize on those things? That's what we should be thinking about. I've worked with a number of organizations, and I worked with a company that was thinking about expanding globally, right? So they were setting standards for this particular process that they had, and then they had an international organization that they were part of. And so some of the work that I did with this company was to say, well, how do people in in this other country think about this process? What's important to them? What are the barriers that you would face when you go into these international, intercultural environments? And how will your product that you have or your standards that you have, how will that translate in a different context? So that's part of the work that I think that we have to do. How does what I have, how does what I have, what I do, how can it serve another market? How can it help another group of people? How do they look at this problem differently than I look at this problem? That drives what? It drives innovation. Okay, instead of this, I don't know what did Stanley Cups look like before. Again, I don't have any knowledge of Stanley Cups pre TikTok. I don't know what they look like, um, how they were really used, other than what I read. If you used the Stanley Cup before, they were popular and cute. I don't know. Put a message in the chat, make a comment for me so I can understand. But I think they were pretty basic, right? Now they got these pink cups and peach cups and all these different designs and cute camouflage cups, all these different things that they are doing with the Stanley Cup now because someone said, hey, let's take advantage of what's going on. And I think one of these cups even like survived a thing in the, like a fire in a car or something. Oh, like these cups are indestructible, and so they bought the person, I think, a new. I don't know if they bought them a new cup or a new car, something like that. But anyway, as we think about these things, as we think about inclusive leadership, some of the benefits again are enhanced creativity. We can improve employee engagement, and we can have broader market appeal. Those things, those are three great things right there, right? For us as business owners, where we can have a tangible connection to these practices. And then let's not forget, as we engage employees more, as they feel like more of a part of the organization, inclusion, as they feel like they belong, inclusion, then we have better employee retention. We have people telling their friends about us and about our workplace, and it's easier for us to get those qualified employees uh, that we need and that we want. So, yeah, Stanley Cup, Taylor Swift, uh, all of these interactions have been really interesting in showing how I think diversity, inclusive practices can really drive innovation and drive profits in the workplace. If that's something that you are interested in as a business leader, it makes your brand more relevant to more people. It expands your ability to survive and thrive in the current context and in a changing context, right? Like like yeah, it really does. And some of it, the new social media hype gets us all in our feelings about stuff. But I mean, if you really think about, some people are upset that Taylor Swift goes to the NFL games. Well, what about Jack Nicholson? Jack Nicholson went to how many Laker games? Do y'all remember that? I'm dating myself a little bit. Jack Nicholson, big star, goes to a lot of basketball games. Used to sit there. Spike Lee goes to the Knicks games. Matthew McConaughey, Hook 'em Horns, University of Texas. He's always prominently featured on the sidelines, but it didn't cross the market, right? Maybe because all those people were men, right? They were just regular male men stars, and now you have Taylor Swift with Taylor Swift who appeals to a different audience. Maybe Matthew McConaughey appeals to the female audience. I don't know, but Taylor Swift, broad appeal, different type of market, brought that energy to the NFL, and now people can't stop talking about her, even me. But I'm not a Swifty, but I like Taylor Swift back in the day. I do like some Taylor Swift. I listen to her every now and then. But thank you all so much, leaders. You have a great day. I know you got a lot on your plate. You don't have to be with. Look, my voice is going out. You don't have to be with me today, this morning. But I thank you for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day. Leadership matters. Go out and make some good decisions. Set the visions for your team, and I hope that you can think outside of the box. Think about how you can bring in new voices, new perspectives that will help you to achieve your goals. Thank you so much. You all have a great day.